Ouais. Hello, 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 everybody. How are we doing? How are we doing? It is Honk here with the Revel Endurance Championship Season 5, and as always, I'm not alone. I'm joined here by Pokers. How you doing, Pokers?
Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm feeling good, and you?
I'm doing excellent. I am doing excellent. We've got a ridiculous map up ahead, track up ahead. And honestly, I can't remember the last time we've really seen an endurance on this track. It is Spa Vault 1. Any initial thoughts, Pokers?
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Well said.
For racers, and it's gonna be sweet as hell for the viewers.
Awesome.
Gonna have a lot of action coming in.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and show, speaking of upcoming tracks, we've already been through 6 weeks of RVEC 2, or RVC 5, Museum 2, Port Lamano 2, Game Room 2, Spa Vault 2, Venice, Downtown 1. They're all out of the way. Going to be at Spa Vault 1 today. Be followed by Hospital 1, Santorini, White Rose Chapel. So time is running out for these drivers to get their points locked in. And speaking of points, we can go ahead and check out our overall points total. See. Let's start with last race. We had Kilobaris taking the gold, a third gold for Kilobaris. Unprecedented performance here. Absolutely unprecedented. The 5th player to ever get a win at the RVEC across any season. And he's done so 3 times now, Pokers.
Yeah, this is insane. Before this season, we have 4 drivers that were able to win a race in RVEC. And during season 5, Kilobaris just come, snatch already three wins. And it don't plan to stop there.
Yeah, it has been an absolute terror here out of Kilobaris. And the thing is, the improvement. He's also our most improved player, obviously, by the wins that he continues to snatch up. We'll see if he can continue riding the momentum into what is going to be a very chaotic track. Before we move on, though, Kiki did come in 2nd place. Look how close that 2nd place was. About 150 milliseconds there at the end, separating 1st and 2nd by race time. We also had a ridiculous matchup. Famous barely snatching that 3rd, coming out of nowhere. Sting, Frost, Nick, G-Force, all neck and neck. They're battling it out even for 3rd. And the driver of the day will be Kiki. There were 3 different drivers who had like over 5 votes. So this was a very contested driver of the day. But at the end of the day, Kiki did take that driver of the day. So close to getting that 1st place. But it was ultimately the Toyota standing ahead of the rest of the competition. So, first night, yes, Kippy says first 99% consistency. Another good point. You can see the average lap time between these 2 racers was separated by 3 milliseconds. Kiki had the better pace, but Kilobaris had that consistency locked down. Very good point, Kippy. Now,
I think there were more 99% consistency on other tracks. That were not correctly.
Right. But
there were a prediction of 99.31% consistency on Famous.
Okay.
Yeah, Game Room 2. Yeah.
Wow. Game Room 2 had 499 consistency. Okay. But it was a very monumental moment because he was the only one to get that 99%. He did it by 0.01%. into that 99%, and was standing pretty confidently ahead of the rest of the competition. So got a couple more things to go over before we head into our match. We do have a little bit of time. IO races still finishing up. Overall standings now going to be shown. We got Famous in the lead by 7 points over Kielbaris, despite Kila's 3 first places. His only other podium is going to be that 3rd place on Game Room 2. Famous had 2 third places as well as a nice 10-pointer there. So he will be just a little bit ahead of Kielbaris. But 15 points separating Stingox and Kielbaris at this point. And another 12 for Kiki, and so on and so forth. We've got Nick, G-Force, Frost getting in that competition for upper field. Power 8, Lampert duking it out as well. Makakowski, Ama, and Ashen, as well as Ertzu and Laggy Rock. Laggy Rock with some unfortunate disconnects. But another important point is that 3 lowest races will be cut off. So you'll only be keeping the top 7. So these big goose egg zeros for a few of these racers that we see, for example, Frostbitten with 2 of those, Laggy Rock with 2 of those, we will see those get improved upon.
Just noticing something about the overall standings here.
Yes.
If you remove 2 races from Famous and Kielbaris, they're tied.
Oh.
They're tied. Even 3 races removed, they're also tied.
Okay, very good point. Yeah, none of them have gotten the best lap when they won. They've all just been on 25 points. I don't know if any of them have gotten the best lap at all so far. That could be an interesting thing to check out.
I don't think so. It's only Stingox and Nick at this point.
Okay, wow. So we do have our players joining up. So I am going to go ahead and kick it over to our track preview. So graciously provided by the one and only Pokers. So, Spa Vault 1, if you're not familiar with it, I know a lot of people are going to be familiar with this. Really a cornerstone of multiplayer Revolt, especially on the IO server. This map comes up so often. Just a classic track, one of those first ones that I was really acquainted with. One of the real nightmare difficulty tracks. If you thought Spa Vault 2 was ridiculous, get ready to take it to the next level here at the Spa Vault 1. Of course, once that next lap starts, we'll talk about more of the intricacies of this track, but already you can see just how difficult this track is. If you've been watching at all while we've been talking during the track overview, you can see it is just turn after turn, jumps, dips, bridges, etc. We are going to be starting the second lap here, and we see he actually goes for the outside area, which I guess allows him to get more speed headed into that wide turn to start off the track. We've then got a bridge jump into a U-turn into another bridge jump, and then we've kind of got the keystone of this track, which is that crazy cut into the ramp jump. Am I right, Pokers?
Yeah, it's the most slippery area of the whole track, and you have to be very consistent in it, because it leads to this jump here where it's basically a shortcut that gives you 20 meters each, something like that. So yeah, it's a key point to this track, and this whole thing is very difficult to be consistent in.
Right, it's one thing to survive a lap, it's another to thrive on a lap. And we are now being shown the alternate path that you can take at the beginning here with the wall bang. Also, the cut through, interesting here, not something you see too often. Could be a good route to take on your pickups matches. If anybody's watching along who likes to play pickups, that would be a great way to dodge a lot of those pickups, oils, etc. But of course, RVEC, we're focused on non-pickup only, but regardless, again, seeing that jump through straight into the ramp, especially with lower class cars, that can be an absolute nightmare, because if you drop down, it is just going to absolutely eat away at your time, at your position, etc. And I think we may even see that happen here with pro cars.
Yeah, it should happen with slowest slowest pro cars or pro cars that are not stable enough. They
Right.
just consistently fail the cut through the grass, and you don't have any more speed, so it's over. You
Yeah.
can take that round.
And we are just starting this track overview back from the start. I was going to play it for another lap. We're still waiting. And also, I think this track is so difficult that it deserves another look at what's going on. Especially one part that I wanted to talk about was after the ramp, the shortcut into the ramp right here.
Yeah, there's something after the ramp, after this jump here. You have if you get into the wall, you probably won't get out of it, and you might lose time on it.
Well said.
Especially with the two very narrow turns after that.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and do our predictions here while I let that track overview continue to play out for a little bit. Checking who's here today. I actually don't think Kila is even here today. Didn't sign up, wasn't on IO. So we got Frost, Famous, Powerade, Kiki, Lampert, Laggy Rock. Let's see, do we have G-Force? Yes, we do.
And Kira is here.
Kila is. We've also got Ertsu and Ama. So I think from last week we do have Ama not making it into the top 10 since Lampert is here, so I'll go ahead and change that one. But all these should still be the same. If the driver you wanted to vote for is not in this list, I'm sorry, but I think this is... In fact, I'll go ahead and bring it over real quick to our overall standings, just to take a peek at it. And this is looking correct to me. Again, apologies if anybody is missing, but that looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and send it. We've got some chatters in here as well. Of course, shout out to Kippy. Hello, Kippy. We've got Kiki, TT, Shigeki, Hansi Rod, Solubele, Top, Breathing Statue, First Time Chatter. Hope you are going to enjoy the action. And I'm just getting word that we've got one more minute until we are headed in here. Cheers to y'all on those view streaks. So cool to not only see the same faces, but to see y'all are so dedicated. Y'all are keeping those stream streaks going. Very cool. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and send it over to our main screen. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Pokers, but I think we're just going to be showing one view here.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to run over why that is the case, or is that something I'm not supposed to talk about?
Just because, as Frost said in the in-game chat, we have a limit where where racers can back and go and launch themselves on a lap.
Right.
So it's gonna be just I'm gonna act as a referee for that.
Okay, cool.
But don't worry, there's gonna be a picture-in-picture during the race.
Absolutely.
As usual.
Yes. Enhances the quality of the race so much, especially with so many so that the competition being elevated so much and there often being so many races to watch, even further backfield. A lot of times in endurance, the top of the field is a bit more grouped up skill-wise, and it kind of falls off once you get further midfield, backfield. Not the case here at the RVEC. Every single spot is contested every single week, it feels like. And we're headed into our qualifiers. If this is your first time watching, this might be a little bit new to you. We do have 6 laps of qualifiers where the racers try to get their best lap time that they can possibly get. Whoever wins, they do so not by getting first place in the race, but by getting the best lap time. and that will determine what their starting place position is. So don't worry, I haven't gathered you all here today for a 6-lap race. It's going to be many more laps than that. This is just the qualifier. We've got pokers on referee, as he's mentioned, so it's just down to me to keep track of these racers and how they're doing. We've got Laggy Rock, who I said has been plagued by some internet issues here and there, as well as just general electricity issues as well. But he still shows up each and every week to give it his all, and he is going to be starting out in the front, bold and brave, trying to get his best lap. Now I am going to try to go ahead and pull up our live scores, and that isn't to try to show the to try to show the difference. It's just to show our best lap times. So you can look down there at the bottom of the live standings to see who is currently in the lead. It is Sting right now, Stingox, followed by Kiki. Ama just set a new best lap for himself that will put him in third. Laggy Rock is fourth, and V is fifth. Top ass, is radar going to be messed up? That's a good question. Keep an eye on it for now, and if any funny business is happening, let me know so we can factor that in during our cast. But for the meantime, we've had the camera on Laggy Rock for a good bit there. I'm going to go ahead and show Sting, who is currently our leader as far as best laps go. He's just now starting lap 3. Going to have this lap as well as 3 more shots at getting an even better best lap. You can see he follows the chair line there. Looks like Famous might have had a mistake leading up to the jump. He'll still be able to execute on the jump, but that lap probably going to be thrown in the trash for him. Stingox, though, powering through with great execution. Wall rides, doing a quick 360 on the bang there. I don't think that that's going to be setting a new best lap time for him. Although it's certainly, okay, he's just going to, you can see how they're positioning to start the race in a favorable, or start the lap rather, in a favorable speed. It allows them to get extra top speed to carry them through. It is still Sting out with the lead, but G-Force now moving into our second best lap time. He will be wrecking out there to start us off on that lap. As we flip through, let's go ahead and tune into Keela. Keela is not currently in the top 5, but he's having great execution through the final turns of this lap, so he could be trying to lock something in here. 43.773, that is going to bump him up to 4th. Kind of an underdog story here so far is Frostbitten, who traditionally has been the #1 threat to Famous's dominance through the RVEC. Has not been the case so far here at the RVEC 5, but he's still got time left to do it with. He's got a couple of zeros on his scoreboard. If he can finish this off really strong in these coming weeks, he could definitely be a threatening force. If not for first or second, definitely for the podium still. We've also got Makakowski with the 3rd best lap. He's starting off lap 5 here. He's been another underdog for us. He's had a lot of support thrown at him by the South American, Latin American community. A huge presence here at Revolt. Shout out to y'all. Vamos! Dale! Tios! I was gonna say more, but honestly I couldn't think of any more. My vocabulary is a bit limited. But you can see Makakowski is tearing through. Unfortunate little tip there at the very end. Otherwise, that could have been a very powerful lap. Tuning into V for just a moment. I believe our only Humma driver. He's unfortunately having some issues there. And let's see, who else can we watch here in the final moments? Let's go ahead and put it on G-Force here. He's just now started off his race. Shout out to Rog. Yes, majority of racers are European. We've got a few South American, Latin American racers. That's about it. Very large European force here. All right, G-Force finishing up his lap. 43.238. That's going to put him in number 2. Sting just barely missing a sub 43. Everyone else a pretty good ways off. Wow, 250 millisecond advantage by Stingox there in first place. G-Force in second. Kilobaris very close off in third. Makakasi quite close behind that in fourth. Kilobaris was able to squeeze his way into third. Power 8 with a 43.579. And Frostbitten squeezing into sixth place there with a 43.858. And look at the best lap time differentials there. I mean, pretty massive. We had close contention for second, third, fourth, but I mean, a massive drop off to fifth, and even bigger one to sixth. And yeah, oh, we actually had V. Did it just get changed a bit? I could have sworn we just saw it change. I think it, no, it was just the, never mind. It was just our racers finishing and the best laps moving up. So, interesting race on our hands. I honestly neglected to talk about V on the Hummer until a little bit later. But yeah, he is driving that Hummer. The rest of the drivers on the Toyota. And normally it's not something that I would mention too much. But we just had Downtown 1, where Cougar, of all cars, was the go-to car there. So that was pretty interesting. And Pokers, I know you couldn't see much of the best lap itself, but I think those best lap gaps were a little crazy. I mean, 250 milliseconds between first and second. That's pretty crazy. And also about an 850 millisecond gap between first and sixth. I mean, Sting was on one here. We know he's still hungry for his first place. Maybe you can find it here. I'll also say Sting he's got 3 second places to his name, as well as a third place. One of those second places was on Spa Vault 2. We've also got Kilobaris with the first on Spa Vault 2, but Famous with the third, so all 3 of our top players did find the podium on Spa Vault 2, so that doesn't really tell much one way or another. So we are just waiting to get back into the lobby here. It is back up. Hippie says we need more tracks with balanced fights between several cars. So I'll throw my hat in the ring for a moment as someone who raced in, I believe, RVEC 1. I raced in the RVEC. I believe it was like the S RVEC, but it was not semis. It was supers. It was super pros, and you could drive any super pro. And I have great memories of practicing each track with each car to figure out what my best lap time was and what I was vibing with each car. I remember I took the Scarlet. I don't know how many people remember Scarlet. It might be back in the carpool, but I brought Scarlet to Skating Toys Redux, and that was definitely a match I remember. Also, I brought Quicksilver to one of the supermarkets, and I was able to almost challenge G-Force on the La Raza, which is kind of an all-time accomplishment for me. We've got Top saying Scarlet, best car in the game. Ayo! Let's see. So we did just get an update on the qualifiers. I'm going to try to get that up in time. I'm a little bit, as usual, I'm a little bit late reacting to it. Let me do it real quick here, because they are trying to get into this match. Anyways, I hope y'all are all having a nice Saturday evening for most of y'all. Saturday afternoon for a few of us here. Okay, so there it is. We got Sting with a 227 millisecond gap in first. Insane. Kilobaris not far off in third. G-Force in second. Makakowski fourth. Power 8 fifth. Frostbitten sixth. And then we have Lampert, Laggy Rock, Famous in ninth behind Laggy Rock. Ertzu, Kiki, Ama, V, and Nick, who was late. So he is just going to be sat there down at the bottom. And Nick is an insane best lap driver. We talked about this a little bit in our pre-show. How he's set most of the best laps alongside Stingox here and there. So it definitely hurts Nick to not be able to get into the qualifier and get himself set up for success there with a nice start. He is going to be starting out way back in 14th. But we've got Famous falling behind Laggy Rock. And the reason why I mention that like it's something crazy is we know Laggy Rock is such a consistency-focused driver. Best laps are not his thing. It's not something he cares too much about. It's not something he aims too much for. So we often see Laggy Rock starting pretty deep in the pool, and then he uses his consistency to gradually overtake racers as they make mistakes. To see him beating out Famous, it does not bode well for Famous particularly. He had 6 chances at it and fell short on all 6 of them apparently. So Famous and Nick starting off a little bit a shaky start. Makakowski is going to be in the hot seat for sure, starting out in 4th place. He's shown up to so many of these races, and we've gotten to cover him, but it's been mostly covering him from a little bit further midfield, maybe edging towards the backfield a bit more. But he's sitting up here in 4th. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it. Maybe he's able to turn a new leaf here, start some momentum. Maybe we could even see a new first place of the RVEC on our hands. That being said, in order to accomplish that, he's going to have 60 pretty damn clean laps of Spa Volt 1 in a row. That's right, we're here for 60 laps. Hope y'all got some drinks, snacks, etc. locked in, ready to go, because we're going to be starting our race soon. And once it starts, it's not going to stop for at least like an hour or so. So make sure you are, ready to go. Make sure you don't miss any of the action. I'm going to go ahead and get the picture-in-picture pulled up as well so that we've got that before the race starts. And we'll be heading in shortly. Shout out to Ama, asking me when will I complete the game. I like to keep people, you don't give the people what they ask for. Even if they ask for it for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, you gotta make them earn it. I'll make you wait for it a little bit longer. But enough time for jokes, because the race is upon us. The drivers are getting lined up. We are going to be starting off here soon. All getting in a line. I'm going to be given the go call here soon, and I'm going to be going straight on to Sting. Sting taking a nice delay there. Still struggling to get our goes in order, but the race is underway. Of course, our top 4 is currently Sting, G-Force, Hila, and Makakowski. And Mike Makakowski with a high-pressure wipeout on the very first pre-shortcut turn. He will be falling down into 6th, going to try to get on the inside of Lampert, not quite able to find 5th there. We've got Famous already challenging him. In the picture-in-picture, we got Kilobaris on the screen a little bit further upfield, out in 3rd place right now. We've got Sting and G-Force still in first, second. Famous trying to get over Lampert. Famous has already moved up into 6th place. Makakowski back into 5th. And Power Rate moves up into 4th. Frostbitten trying to make some moves. It's just going to give a big slowdown there before the turn. Kilobaris with the overtake on G-Force.
Got crashed on the slippery section. Had to go a little backwards.
Okay, so it will still be Sting holding on to first, but Keela moves into second. He's already about 20 meters back behind Sting. I'm going to go ahead and show this midfield development before our very eyes as Frost finds a pass onto Lampert. Frost wrecks, Famous wrecks, but Frost wrecks in return. Lampert banging out the pole. You were right, Pokers. It has been absolute chaos here. It really is starting to kick off here on lap 3. Racers going back and forth. Air 2 snuck all the way up to 7th. He's going to wreck. Lampert's wrecking. He runs up into the tree. He wrecks. One player goes down below. Disaster. And we got Nick still in 14th, 100 meters back. Laggy Rock fighting with V, Ama, and Lampert. How are we doing further upfield?
G crashed again.
Oh!
and he fall down 4th.
In the meantime, Laggy Rock trying to pass V on the Humma, not going to happen. Ama in 11th, Lampert 10th, Air 2 sneaking through, still safe in 9th. Kiki in 7th now. Kiki almost going to give a position to Famous. And you know what? I think I'm going to move up here a little bit to showcase Sting's resilience. Actually, yeah, you can keep showing that. You can keep showing that's great. However you want to do it. I'm going to put the camera on Sting for just a moment here. Always good to show our first place drivers, especially when they've managed a 30-meter getaway so quickly on in this race. Spa Vault 1 here. Very chaotic track, but Sting has been able to find a good degree of safety. In the meantime, absolute chaos. Sting wrecks. Kilobar is challenging. Makakowski chilling in 3rd. He's even approaching Kilobaris a little bit here. I hyped it up. I said we could see a new first place. Makakowski certainly wants to put on a show for it. Stingox bangs off, and we got a new first place on our hands, folks. Kilobaris, for the first time in a race, going to dethrone Sting. He's not just going to do that. Makakowski's going to move into 2nd. Powerade's going to move into 3rd with the wreck out of Makakowski. Powerade's going to be challenging him on the inside. He goes, setting up, but Makakowski will reign supreme on the drop down. Kilobaris wrecking as well. The race is still on. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, neck and neck. The race keeps morphing and mutating in front of our very eyes through the halls and the draws of Spa Vault 1. G-Force, despite many wrecks, using his powers, his magical Brazilian racing powers, to move up, challenging the podium once again. Makakowski wrecks out, implicates Powerade in that wreck. That's 2nd and 3rd, both wrecked. Previous first place driver Sting moves back into the podium. He's going to take 2nd. G-Force wreck. Makakowski flips. Powerade trying to get some scraps here. And this has just been absolute ballistics. Bertha ballistics. Or no, ballistics, no Bertha, as they say. Powerade going to try to find the pass on Makakowski. Makakowski briefly dethroned. We'll be moving back into 4th place. Stingox wrecks. I mean, back and forth. Let's tune into Kilobaris here for just a bit before I go back further backfield, because we got an insane 4-way, maybe even 5-way backfield battle, or at least midfield and backfield as well. Got some action going on. Look at Kilobaris' execution here. We talked about how much momentum Kilobaris is riding on. He has been making massive, I mean, waves would be falling short. Let's try a tsunami. He has been bringing a tsunami, a monsoon here to the RVEC, completely shifting the landscape of the RVC. Sitting out here in 1st place with about 20 laps, threatening even to take over 1st place from Famous, able to get 4 first places here, more than Famous. Absolutely unheard of if he can make it happen. Let's go ahead and flip back here. We got G-Force, the only competitor to Keela here for the moment. Sting and crew have fallen all the way back 50 meters. We got Sting, Makakowski, Famous. Right now you're watching we've also got Powerade in the mix as well. You got picture in picture, you got Famous passing up Powerade there, but in the meantime Sting leading the drop down, Makakowski in tow, Famous out in 5th. And I can already tell I'm going to need a breather here too, because it is shaping up to just be absolute high octane non-stop action from the start to the finish. We're about 1/6 of the way through our race, and I'm already like, damn, I need a second. But there are no seconds given, just like the nature of endurance. It's just the way it is. You just keep it pressing as much as you can. Sting, Makakowski both wrecking. They're going to be blocking out Famous. Makakowski passing up Sting for the moment, but Sting finding the upper hand on the wall bang on the inside, passing him back up, taking back third. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and watch this final sequence play out for a bit. We'll be headed back to first, second. Sting Ox wrecks out. It's going to be Makakowski versus Famous. Makakowski with a little bit of breathing room against Famous. And let's flip over to G-Force versus Keela here. At least on my screen, we've got Keela Barris leading just by 5 meters with G-Force out in second place. And we are having a moment of normalcy here. The wall bangs go out. They are successful. The ramp is successful. We've got the vent wall bang as well. G-Force going to take it a little bit aggro, goes for the double wall bang, resets him a little bit aggressively into that final turn, and he does have to reset just a little bit, losing a couple, but a beautiful launch through the drop down ramp is going to buy him that time right back. He's right back on the tail of Keela Barris. A little bit of air time there as he turns the corner, but that's it. 50 meters ahead of the competition. We are just going to watch the shortcut into ramp, into wallbang sequence one more. We'll just finish off the lap here. Keela Barris and G-Force. At some point, you have to stay focused on one race for just a little bit. They both survived the ramp. It's been top level play out of these two drivers. G-Force recovering from a couple early mistakes. Keela Barris not having too many mistakes to speak of. Turning on that inside corner a little bit too early, tapping the wall. Fortunately, not going to get caught up in the railing kind of situation there with the glass walls, because there are indentions there. So if you wreck, you can really get caught up, lose a ton of time. He is going to, just based on pace execution, 20 meters behind Keela Barris, and with the minor wreck again, he is going to start to drop. We'll start to tune into some of our other racers here. Makakowski, Famous, Power Rate, about 20 meters separating each of them for third, fourth, fifth. And look at the numbers in our live standings. Finally, those single digits numbers starting to wash away a little bit. You still got the battle between first and second on the picture-in-picture here for the moment. But as I flip through a little bit more, Makakowski, let's see if he can land that wall bang into turn sequence. Looking brilliant. Power Rate able to replicate it as well. Stingox battling with Frostbitten. As we said, Frostbitten has been a little bit quiet here in the RVEC so far. He does have a bronze under his belt, but that's it. I do believe he's trying to catch up with Stingox here. Has been the master of second places, as has typically been the route here at pretty much all the RVECs. Sting has been struggling to find anything but second place. Can he reverse the curse here? But he would be reversing it in a negative way here if he finished out in 6th. Moving a little bit further backfield, we've got Ertsu in 8th, Nick in 9th. He's moved from 14th all the way up to 9th. That's plus 5 positions for Nick. Looking excellent so far. We got Lampert in 10th, Laggy Rock in 11th, Hiki all the way out in 12th. Trying to find his footing here, but it's just not working for him so far. Lampy Rock, hell yeah. Lampert and Laggy Rock both struggling on the exit for that shortcut. Kiki catching up a little bit. Ama in 13th, V in 14th, and that is going to be it. We flip back towards the front, showing head-to-head G-Force versus Keela for just a little bit here. Keela in first place on the main screen. G-Force picture-in-picture in second place. Kiki, in the meantime, has passed up Laggy Rock. He's passed up Lampert as well. Okay, that position is given back to Lampert. I flip back a little bit backfield here. Ertsu in the mix as well. Lampert on the outside, and Lampert will be able to recover, but at the cost of 2 positions. And Kiki has passed up Ertsu as well. An absolute speed demon is Kiki. When I saw he was all the way back here, I was like, wow, he's all the way back in what, 12th? That's insane. But in the blink of an eye, he's all the way up to 9th. Like nothing ever happened. We got another race unfolding in front of our eyes. Sting versus Frost continues on. Nick is in the mix as well. This is 6th, 7th, 8th. Sting getting the launch over Frost, but he's not. He's on the outside there. Frost will be able to hold on to 6th. We've got a pretty tense shortcut section coming up in front of our eyes, though. There it is, the pass off of Frost with a little bit, I don't know, just taking the angle, Frost taking it a bit carefully, and Sting is going to find the pass into 6. Frost opting for the safety. Okay, flipping a little bit back towards our action, Laggy Rock. Unfortunately, that's exactly what I was talking about. You can see that fence area, the overlook area is not just a straight line. There's the indentations there, which allows you to, not allows you, it forces you to compound your errors into even bigger errors. But as our race continues, Air2 10th, Laggy Rock 11th, Lampert 12th. It continues on. We got Fam and Sting. I'm going to have to tune into that. We'll go ahead and watch this shortcut area, and then I am going to tune into that one. Looking good for all of our 3 racers. As I flip forward, Nick in 8th, Frost 7th, Sting 6th, Famous out in 5th. He's now hunting down Power 8. It looks like, in the meantime, Sting had another wreck. Famous almost colliding with the wall. He is going to connect with the pole. An uncharacteristic mistake out of Famous. This has been just absolute. I mean, it's been wet and wild. Let's say that much. I mean, the Spot Vault 1 does not disappoint. And Power 8, of all people, he has been pretty quiet. Him and Makakasi both the wreck out of Power 8 as well. He will fall back. And Stingok's going to be challenging him as well. I didn't even get to say how, you know, Power 8 is one of those drivers who shows up every single week to all of these races, but he has often been midfield, especially with the caliber of competition here. 5th place is still a great showing for him so far. I'm sure he wants 4th. I'm sure he wants a podium. We'll see how far he can take it. This 3-way battle continues on. Sting is in the mix as well. We've got Frost and Famous trying to get in as well. Actually, where was Famous? Oh, that was just a radar bug. My bad there. I don't know what I was saying. And look at the divisions. The cracks begin to show as the song goes. It's a song I'd rather forget at this point, but we've got, in the meantime, let's stay focused. Famous, Power 8, Sting, 5th, 6th, very much heated up. But look at the gaps between 1st, 2nd, 3rd starting to show here. Power 8 and Sting still very much in the mix. Sting tries to take it on the inside. Power 8 defends. On the inside is Sting. Not going to be able to find it. Famous losing some speed as well. Sting over the head. Going to be on the outside though. Power 8 clinching onto 5th place. Perhaps along with other things as this race continues on. Sting not able to find it. Gets knocked up towards the duck. Of course, the star on this track. There's a star area over there with pickups on. Not where you want to go on a pickups off endurance race, though. Fortunately, Power 8 is able to, or Sting is able to avoid such a fate. Power 8 versus Famous continues on. Power 8 takes the outside. Famous takes the inside. And look at the top speed advantage as Famous ejects himself. Continuing to power through. I know we got some other races, but look at it. Power 8 tries to find the pass. Famous is going to hold on there. Kind of looking like a turn that only Famous can make happen there. Power 8 did lose a little bit of speed, maybe going a little bit too aggro with the turn. Sting is absolutely in this mix still. We've got Kiki as well as Laggy Rock. Sting with the wreck. Frostbitten right there trying to snap up 6th place. And another wreck. Currently in the picture-in-picture, we've got Kilo Bar. Oh my god, compounding the mistakes. Power 8 is falling apart. Here's Sting. He passes him up. Frostbitten tries to pass him up as well. Not quite going to happen. He'll just be able to skate on by. Oh my goodness, connecting with the pole as well. Let's look away, look away, look away. That was kind of a very drama moment there. I let out my inner Broadway. But we got Kilobaris still with the 100 meters, 75 meters over G-Force. Maybe a minor wreck out of Kilobaris. Maybe just dealing with a high technicality part of the track as well. He is looking to stabilize. 75 meters still held on to. G-Force going to run smack dab into the cleaning machine, which is going to make him fall all the way back. Famous versus Sting still going on, but we've also got a couple backfield battles which I want to showcase a little bit. We got Kiki versus Laggy Rock. But don't forget, We still got Makakowski in third place. Absolutely incredible showing by Makakowski. It looks like he is going to wreck. We're going to go and show Makakowski here for a bit. He is defending against Famous and Sting, who are right there behind him. He's also challenging G-Force for second place. He's only 10 meters behind him at the moment. 150 meter gap for Kilobaris. And the wreck out of G-Force. Oh, Makakowski responding. And it's just so easy to wreck. When you see your opponent wreck in front of you, it completely messes up your line unless you are laser focused in. And that happened there. It's so easy to make a mistake like that during an endurance race. You're starting to get fatigued. But Makakowski's gonna need to stay locked in here because he's still got about 2/3 of the race to finish up if he wants to lock in third place. It's certainly doable, but with Famous and Stingox right there behind him, it's gonna be a tall order. G-Force losing speed into the ramp. Makakowski gonna find the overtake into second place, but the main question is, will he be able to hold on to it? Kilobaris, with perfect execution, continues to rise up in the standings, almost breaching 200 meters. Bit of a shaky exit there for Makakowski, who will be challenged right again by G-Force. We've got Sting. We've got Famous as well in that mix. That is on our picture-in-picture. Excellently captured, Pokers. And they will continue to battle. But in the meantime, G-Force getting a little bit nippy there onto Makakowski. It isn't going to amount to too much. He's going to fall out of striking range before the shortcut. Can't try any shenanigans there. Got the ramp as well. The vertical overtake indeed, as well as many a caster curse coming out. Shout out to our chat enjoying themselves here on this Saturday afternoon. RVEC 5 Week 7 coming at ya. Makakowski and G-Force, two representatives of the Revolt Americas community, trying to lock in 2 medals for the Revolt Americas, also for themselves. Makakowski, I believe this would be his first ever medal in an RVEC event, and with this level of competition and veteran status here amongst the Revolt community being represented, it would be a monumental showing. Just like that, one of our said veterans, G-Force, will take over the mantle of second for the time being. But Makakowski's still in there for third. Sting over to, I mean, do not call it a cast of curse, man. You can't continue. I'm going to start doubting myself here if this keeps happening. Makakowski tries to wrench back third place, but G-Force with the clean pass. Makakowski compounding the issue with a nice little 180, not very nice actually, onto the cleaning machine. And oh my, it is what it is. In the meantime, G-Force has managed to make up some lost time against Kilobaris, and we've also got a couple other races on our hands. I'm going to quickly showcase Alma versus V here. V in the Humma trying to make some waves. Alma has been chasing him down for a while now. He's trying to get the overtake into 13th place, but we've got the action heating back up here. Laggy Rock and Kiki duking it out, but we got to stay tuned in to the main event. Famous will be passing up Makakowski, and that's been 3 positions lost by Makakowski back to back in a very short time frame. I was trying to hype my man up so much, but ultimately he has fallen back a bit. But look at how close he still is. We're about to be breaching the halfway point of our race, and Makakowski is within 20 meters away from a third place finish. This is absolutely monstrous performance by Makakowski, finding the calm in the chaos here at Spa Vault 1. And you know, maybe he got one of those mani-pedis here before he started out, because he is calm, cool, and collected despite losing some ground a bit earlier on. Famous will wreck. He has to repo. He finds a pass. 4th place secured for Makakowski. Mr. Cleany out for blood. What am I doing calling him the cleaning machine when I can call him Mr. Cleany? Absolutely. We got like a little bit of lap traffic coming up here And as our racers begin to face lap traffic, especially on a very chaotic track like this, it could certainly add a wrinkle into our race. The wreck out of V, Makakasi trying to approach, trying to honk them out of the way, lands right behind the bumper of V. V's hanging on. He will eventually escape by, maybe a little bit late, but Makakasi will survive. Famous has been implicated a little bit, and Makakasi is starting to break away. Stingok still a good bit away from G-Force. He's really started to lock down his second place. And look at Keela Boris. He has thrown away 150 meters against G-Force. Disaster for Keela Boris. All he needed was some clean driving here on the clean streets of Spa Vault 1, and he could have locked it in, but it has started to fall out of his hands, at least a bit. He's got a great buffer zone still, but with the ability for some of these wrecks to compound themselves, it could certainly be an issue for Keela. But we don't have too much time for looking at that. We've got Nick and Powerade fighting it out for 7th, 8th. We've also got Sting versus Makakasi here for 3rd, 4th. Okay. Just a little radar bug. Keela Bar sets a new best lap for the race, turning a new leaf after what has been a bit of a struggle bus on the previous laps for him. Makakowski holding it, sticking it to Sting. He's got 50-meter gap over Famous. He's got to be feeling some momentum here, but he's also got to be feeling some fear. Am I right? Because you've seen just how many times Famous can turn nothing into something out of nowhere, just out of thin air. We are officially breaching the halfway point of our race for most of our drivers. G-Force is challenging for first somewhat. Got about 60 meters left to go. We got Dale G Carajo. We got TT as well as Top cheering on G as well. Love to see that support for G. He has been struggling a bit here at the RVEC. He's someone we typically see taking a whole lot of podiums for himself, but he has not been finding them here. This could be a new leaf for him as well. Makakowski has set a new best lap for himself, showing that he is not backing down. He is locked in. He is ready to drive. Revo Americas performing in spades here so far at week 7, Spa Vault 1. You can see by the gaps that our race has cooled down a little bit. In our picture-in-picture, we're showing off Laggy Rock, who is currently in 9th place, defending off Kiki, using that consistency to his advantage against one of the top racers. Speaking of consistency on the main screen, Sting, after the ramp, that's not somewhere that we frequently see wrecks, but it's also not too surprising. There's a more frequent accident, and there's the compounding of the issue, exactly what I talked about. Not only does he bank off the wall with too much force, but he also veers off, overcorrects, runs straight into the tree as well, and he is going to be falling back quite a bit from Sting. But by quite a bit, it's kind of in air quotes, because 25-30 meters, that could be gone in an instant, and it has been gone over and over and over all day today here at Spa Vault 1, folks. Whew. We have a little bit of
right.
It has been a crazy race here so far. We got a little bit of breathing room. Nick versus Kiki is what it's looking like right now. Kiki has the best overall lap in our race, but it's followed by Sting. Sting is a force to be reckoned with, absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to put the camera on Famous for just a bit because it looks like he's been struggling. Makakasi may be responding. I got to look away again just as quickly as I looked there. Okay. Sting is holding on to 3rd, holding on to the podium for the time being. I'll take your advice, Skippy.
Yeah, don't forget to stay hydrated.
Oh yeah, that was a Kool-Aid Man reference. And we'll see who's going to be blasting through some walls and making some surprises here at the Spa Vault 1 as the advertisements go. If you know, then you're probably a boomer, and so I apologize to you for that. But Sting versus Makakowski continuing to stay current with the times here. 3rd to 4th place, 25 meters between the two. We've got Kiki and Nick. Right now on the screen, we got Powerade on our picture-in-picture. Let's see. Let me get... okay, so he is a good ways... No, he's quite close to Frostbitten. Okay, so he is challenging Frostbitten here. In the meantime, on the main screen, we got Makakowski versus Sting. It's continuing to morph and to shift. Is starting to, you know, just when you start, once you think he's in striking range, he runs into Mr. Cleany, and he resets the whole thing. Thank you very much for setting up that alley-oop for me, Makakowski, on that one. And he falls back.
Kilabarus.
Oh! The pass in front of our very eyes. Unfortunately, we didn't even catch that. We were looking at other races, and he adds insult to injury there with a wreck in the shortcut compounded by the tree, as we so often see. And it is G-Force moving in. Of course, it wasn't that big of a gap there. It was about, you know, it was about 50 meters that he had. So it's not completely unsurprising to see him able to find that overtake. It really just needed one big mistake out of Kila. But now adding 25 meters in there, and we've got G-Force in the lead. We've got the Hunter cam here right now. Kilabar is trying to strike, but he strikes himself, getting a little bit too trigger happy, shall we say. Running into the wall, has to reposition. He does nail the exit there on the shortcut into the ramp, but he's going to be moving into the orange as far as distance against G-Force goes. Okay, I am going to move it just a bit back here. We got Stingux in 3rd being shown in the picture-in-picture. We can maybe show Kila G, one of them, on the picture-in-picture for the time being, because I'm going to flip through the ranks for a bit. Makakowski in 4th. Famous still. The Shark in the Waters. Smelling the blood. It's the blood of Makakowski, but so far he's been able to outrun the Shark. Something you don't see every day. He's got a 200-meter gap on Frostbitten, who is out in 6th with a very... tranquil race out in 6th place. Powerade, 100-meter gap ahead, 100-meter gap behind. On Laggy Rock, 8th place. Air2 with the wreck. Going to give Kiki 9th place. Nick, 11th. Lampert, 12th. And then we got V and Ama, 13th, 14th. We got to flip back forward. We've got the head-to-head cam being shown right now. Actually, I'm got to flip back. Put it on Makakowski versus Famous, because we just missed an overtake, but fortunately we caught the retake by Makakowski on Famous. Makakowski moving out into 4th place. And Makakowski is going to hold steady through some of the trickier areas of our track. In the meantime, the picture-in-picture still showcasing G-Force versus Kila. It's about a 30 meter race on our hands here. Famous wrecks. He almost wrecks Lampert at the same time, but he doesn't have to worry about anyone behind him. It's all ahead of him. And Makakowski does look like he's escaped decently well out of the clutches for the time being. And because this 1st place race looks so volatile, we're going to do the head-to-head. It's time for a head-to-head. We've always, every single race, we got to at least have one head-to-head, at least for a while. This time it is going to be 1st to 2nd place. G-Force to Kila. Previous 1st to current standing 1st. Kila Bars has been holding on to 1st place for a good 30 laps, I feel like. But it will be overthrown by G-Force, and he's been holding steady to it for at least a few laps here against Kila.
To answer your question, Kippy, I think I barely catch the crash of Kilabarus. I think there were lap traffic involved, so I don't know what's gonna be.
I'm not surprised to see lap traffic happening. The pro of Spa Vault 1 is, of course, that there is no oncoming traffic. The con is that it's so chaotic that when lap traffic starts happening, it's hard to force the lap racers to actually have a place that they can stop. So it's a kind of a pros and cons here. Very chaotic race. I am going to move away from this head-to-head. Not a whole lot of action happening so far, but we do have some backfield action happening. It looks like Ama has dropped out It is Lampert versus Nick for 11th, 12th. Nick trying to find the pass. Wolf take it on the inside. Nicely done by Nick. He's holding steady to it. Picture in picture still showing the first second battle from Keela's perspective, but on the main screen, Lampert's going to try to find the pass, but Nick, better execution on the drop down section. They're both being lapped by Famous here, so they have to give him room. Lampert trying to capitalize on that a bit, as he is given a little bit of ground to catch up to Nick with. Tries to take it on the inside, will do so, narrowly avoiding the pole is Nick. Okay. That race starting to chill out a little bit as we see the shortcut come out. Lampert going to be taking it very safe. We'll see this final ramp up to the turn. And then oh my God, I should have done it earlier because we have got, I think that's a DC. No, he's just lagging. He's just lagging. It is a radar issue. The radar got bugged because Kilobaris is lagging. You did not miss the action. It is still G-Force versus Kilobaris. But unfortunately, due to the radar bug, it is going to mess up our standings a little bit. You won't be able to use the live standings for as accurate of a reading as this front positions. You see,
I still have the correct radar, so I will give information on that.
Excellent, excellent. Kilobaris with the wreck! And we can see Sting is going to be starting to approach Keela. Okay, but in the meantime, Makakowski versus Famous. This is, I believe, 4th, 5th. And they're trying to keep it locked down between the two of them. Makakowski has not been able to gain the ground. Fortunately, Kilobaris not with a DC. We can at least, hey, the radar got bugged, but at least we have that much. Famous also going to wreck, giving Makakowski a little bit of a blessing of his own. He's allowed to pass through. We've got G-Force. Actually, yeah, can you keep showing Kilobaris? That would be great. We are going to have to stick here. Kilobaris wrecking, and that is going to give G-Force a lot more grounds, but he almost wrecks himself. He almost takes the dip. He gets a little bit, you know, the Brazilians, you know, they love their pools. I don't know if that's a stereotype, but I just feel like, you know, Brazilians love the water. G-Force needs to stay locked in here. It's not time to... You can take your victory dip once you finish the race in first place, G-Force. He wrecks. He's going to go into reverse. He takes it over the ramp. He does a 180 on the landing. This man is cracked. He wants to win. He is over the bullshit. He has realized that this is his race to finally get a win in the RVEC 5 and potentially his first win in the RVEC. Someone fact check me on that. But I do believe, I remember looking at a statistic where it showed G-Force was like the longest racer, one of the longest racers without a win at the RVEC. So this would be a monumental occasion for G-Force, and it would be such a good momentum shift for him because he has been struggling a little bit as per his usual RVEC performances. In the meantime, you are tuned in to G-Force versus Keela. You've got the head-to-head right now. G-Force getting bailed out right there. Okay, maybe the second lap was skill. The lap before was skill. That lap was a little bit of luck there. He does acrobatics. If you've been just absolute, he should have been at the Olympics for the gymnast routine for revolt stunt track performance because that was a ridiculous recovery out of G-Force. Kilobaris is still holding it strong. He's got a very sizable gap, that being said. But let's stay locked in. Keep it on that Kilobaris screen if you can for a bit, and I'll run through the rest. Sting is, let's see, Sting is actually quite close to Kilobaris. Let's not turn this into just a narrative of G-Force versus Kilobaris, because that's not what it is. You can see just how close Sting is. Yeah, Sting is right back in it with Kilobaris here. We've got Makakowski 100 meters ahead of Famous. This could be a massive moment for Makakowski. He might not be able to find podium, but he can find the win over Famous, which would be absolutely massive for him. We got Frost and then Powerade in, I believe, 6th, 7th, and then we're back to Keela. Now, if you want to move around a little bit, you can. I hate to just leave you stuck on Keela just because of the radar bug. But right now we got G-Force versus Sting. Lampert, Kiki, and Nick fighting. Okay. Yes, that is going to be shown in the picture-in-picture. I am going to continue covering our front race with the commentary. We see G-Force wrecking out, but he does have a full recovery. So not completely wrecking out, as I made it seem. But you can see Kilobaris versus Sting, and now, even though the radar is bugged, we can effectively see all 3 races because of how close Sting is to Kila. So I'll continue flipping through. You can get all the front pack action here on the screen at one time right now, barring a wreck from one of these racers, which, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But in the meantime, G-Force headed over the ramp into the U-turn. Kilobaris and Sting approaching. Sting able to gain ground over and over again. Oh my god, look at the launch out of Sting, but he can't recover from it. I don't know what happened there. I was about to comment on how beautiful of a launch that was, but he just couldn't turn on the landing. And he will be falling out just a little bit. G-Force has already made it up and over, and this could be a huge shutdown onto Kilobaris, especially if Sting was able to find the pass, which I wreck out of Kilobaris, and he's right back in it. In the meantime, picture in picture, Kiki manages to pass to Nick. He's trying to continue to hold on to Lampert. Ertzu back there in the action as well. A massive backfield battle. Ertzu finds the pass onto Lampert. He finds a pass onto Nick. Oh my god, it's a destruction derby here for these racers backfield. Look at the action continue to unfold. In the meantime, I think Sting passed up Kilobaris on the main screen. You can hear Kilo's car right behind Sting. I'm afraid to try to find it on the main screen. I'll just leave you here. You saw him for just a glimpse there. Wow. The action is non-stop. I said Downtown 1 was my favorite cast potentially ever, at least in recent memory. And here is Spot Volt 1 putting up an equally just memorable and mind-blowing performance. Sting versus Kila still unfolding. We've got this backfield race still going crazy. Yes, Pokers. Whatever you want to do, I see you flipping through. Okay, Kilobaris with the wreck. And he has fallen out of the battle, at least for the moment, in third place. Kippy, you don't even know how many things I'm looking at right now. You know what I mean? You gotta cut me a little, I know you do, but you gotta cut me a little bit of slack too. When there's so much shit going on, you just gotta catch as much as you can. One thing that we didn't miss though is G-Force Reign of Supremacy almost gets wrecked out by the Mr. Cleany, but bails himself back out. Amma says Honk only has 2 eyes. Look at me, I'm reading the chat too. Maybe that's my issue. Maybe I gotta stop reading that because there is just so much action happening. Okay, we do have the picture-in-picture back on that backfield battle. In the meantime, I'm gonna flip over to Kilobaris so we can see how far away he is. And look at that! He's still right there with Sting. Second, third place right here. It says 7th. Ignore it. This is second, third. Okay. And it still continues to unfold. We've got Nick in 10th, or in 9th. Ertzu in 10th. Lampert in 11th. Kiki in 12th. They're all neck and neck. Laggy Rock is still in the mix. He's been so quiet this race. He's been chilling midfield, doing quite well for himself, moving up in the positions. We just haven't had a chance to cover him too much because he hasn't been brawling with anybody. And a wreck out of Kilobaris, it is going to be Sting very comfortably in second place at this point. And Kilobaris' first place dreams have slipped out of his hands. I think the best he can hope for is second. 75 meters is Sting away from G. And this could just be G-Force with the win. He's on hammer time. I'm going to flip back just a little bit because it seems like all the controversy starts right when we look away. So I'm going to show Laggy Rock for just a bit here. Laggy Rock has been struggling with internet issues, but he shows up every single time. Has a solid performance here. Maybe not as good as he was hoping for, but he's still chilling out in, I believe, 7th. No, he's chilling out in 8th place. You can see the consistency with which he takes this track. In the meantime, I'm going to flip towards Kilobaris. We've got Sting versus Kila here. You can see Kila no longer has vision line on Sting. And you know who we haven't covered for a long time is the man himself out in this lead. We've really just been flipping past him, trying to catch that second, third place battle. Let's put the screen. I've got the main screen on GeForce here for a bit. His second place contender, Sting, is 60 meters back. We've got a little bit of backfield action going on in the picture-in-picture. But just look at G. He's locked in. He's got 5 laps left here in just a few more seconds. He's got all the time in the world. He cannot take a breath yet, though, because 67 meters is just not enough. Even with only 5 laps remaining, it's not enough. A wreck out of Nick. He's able to recover. He's able to dodge it. And Sting has our best lap time alongside second place for the moment. Sting has been racing well. He's dodging traffic like he's playing Frogger. And a pass out of Power 8 in the meantime. Frostbitten was chilling on an island for a while. Looks like Power 8 has something to say here. 5th, 6th, Frost, Power 8. In the meantime, Sting, second place. Picture in picture, we'll see if he wrecks and Keela's able to find a pass. Power 8, another one of those racers who we just don't get as many chances to commentate. Not that he doesn't do well, because he really does. He just isn't in the midst of these battles as much. But he certainly is here today, duking it out against Frostbitten, veteran of the RVEC, longtime RVEC racer, potentially even the creator of the original RVEC. Long-time organizer.
Quick radar updates. Kilabarus is 140 meters behind Stingox.
Thank you very much. And another important note in that same page is that we have to flip away from that midfield competition. It was nice to show a spotlight on it for a while. Frostbitten has managed to break away from Power 8 for the most part. But we see a little bit of shakiness from GeForce on the exit. And you know what? Sting is right there, 30 meters behind. Of course, during the technical portion, it does go down a little bit. We see it straighten back out during the top speed area to 50 meters. But GeForce has he's lost ground. He has absolutely lost ground against Sting, ever so slightly, as we begin lap 59. 2 laps left remaining in today's race. He is going to collide, not quite with the pole, but with the jacuzzi afterwards. It's going to be Sting 20 meters behind him. Oh my. And GeForce never has had a win in the RVEC. He hasn't had one here at the RVEC 5. He takes it too wide. He runs into the tree. Stingox passes him up. Disaster. Disaster situation for GeForce. He's going to have to continue to power through it. Can be handed back to him by Sting. But it's a pretty scary situation here with only a lap and a half left. Oh no, GeForce, GeForce, GeForce. And he wrecks again! Mr. Cleany! Mr. Cleany has bailed him out so many times before and he gets betrayed! And into the final turn! Starting the final lap! Stingox, 20 meters! Oh no! Disaster! And Sting is not only aiming to lap up his first win, another wreck out of G, the final nail in the coffin for him, certainly. How close is Kilabaris at this point? Stingox is gonna lock this in. He's also gonna lock in for best lap. This is gonna be the first 26-pointer of the RVEC happening in week 7 of week 10. And it is going to be him finishing it up here momentarily. There it is, GeForce second place. Not able to find a win in the RVEC yet. Kilabaris going to be finishing up in 3rd, I assume. We've still got a couple races on our hands. We'll continue watching them play out. Lampert, Nick, continuing to battle for 10th place. Drama. There's Makakoski is in 3rd. He finished in 3rd. What happened? We missed it. Kilabaris is in 4th. He's finishing in 4th. How did we miss it? I have no idea what just happened there. I'm so sorry, folks, with the radar bugging. That is going to be Makakowski with the first podium finish ever for him at the RVEC, surprising a lot of people here. Frostbitten in 6th place, Powerade in 7th. We've got Laggy Rock in 8th, Airtsu in 9th, Nick and Lampert battling out here. Final lap ahead. This is absolutely the most ridiculous race I've seen of any RVEC match ever. I mean, what is going on? Laggy Rock in 8th, Nick and Lampert neck and neck here. Final lap, Lampert, Nick takes it way more dangerous on the inside. He gets an advantage for his troubles. They head up the ramp. Down they go, around the bend. Nick needs to hold on here, and he's looking good. He's looking like he's going to have this secured. Just got a couple more turns to go, and there it is, finishing it out here. Lampert with 11th, trying to take the alternate path, finish it out. Not going to happen. Kiki with 11th, and Kiki not able to find best lap either. Man, I hate to finish the race with an apology, but I just feel so sorry to y'all that we missed the overtake by Makakowski. We had so many people rooting for Makakowski. We had the spotlight on him for so long, and he kind of just fell into the sidelines. The first second place battle taking up so much of our bandwidth, and he sneaks into third. I don't know what happened with Kilabaris. If anybody can weigh in, Makakowski, Kilabaris, anyone who was able to see that, who was able to watch it happen, what happened? How did Makakowski find third there at the end?
I really don't know. Makakowski was 200 meters behind.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Oh my god! I mean,
how?
Maybe some kind of internet issues out of Kilabaris. Maybe just an absolute disaster. I mean, I feel like if anybody was recording the demo for that, if you can send it to me, I would love to put together like a post RVEC kind of show, and I would really appreciate the demo. If you have it saved, especially, you know, Makakowski or Kilabaris, if anyone can weigh in on how that happened, if anybody who was racing in that race can send me the demo, I would appreciate it. So the what is it? The CSV? No, that's for the upload. But if you have it on hand, I would really appreciate it. I don't think I saved it myself, unfortunately, being the idiot that I am. That's just the way it goes. Hey, it is what it is. But I mean, what a ridiculous finish. But let's not let that take away from the spotlight here, right? We had a ridiculous first and second place. Stingox with his first place of RVEC 5. The first 26-point finish in RVEC 5, both happening in round 7 of 10. G-Force just falling short of his first ever win in the RVC after him competing in every single RVC so far and being a top competitor every single time. Heartbreaking second place finish for him, but on the upside, I believe that is the first podium finish for him as well. And so a lot of firsts coming out here in Spa Vault 1. The first thing that Famous said when he came into the chat was, I don't understand this track. And that just goes to show the table was completely flipped here. As far as, you know, the chess game that we spent 700 years understanding and playing, here at Spa Vault 1, they basically took all the rules, rewrote them, and said go. And Stingox was able to find the win here. Second place is G-Force. He's still got to be happy with that second place, falling just shy of first. We got Makakowski sliding into third place, beating out Kilabaris in fourth. Amma says, imagine having only 2 eyes. Cringe. I couldn't agree more, Amma. I really couldn't. We've got Powerade as well. Powerade was fighting, brawling it out with Frostbitten. We caught a good amount of that race. Powerade Would love to see you lock it in, of course. Dale! Concha tu madre. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyways. Chupala Dolo. Shout out to Makakowski. Makakowski, if you have a demo of that race, actually, if you want to write out in chat how the hell you managed to pass up Kilobars at the end, it would be much appreciated. I know many racers, many viewers would welcome the spoilers, but we got to stay focused here. We can't just talk about Makakowski all day, pokers. We got some other events happening. The first of which being the driver of the day poll. If you thought Makakowski went hard as hell and you want to give him the dub, go vote. Anybody can vote, including the viewers. You can vote for whoever came in first. You can vote for whoever came in last. Go for it. Go for it. And so, we are going to have some, I have a feeling the voting is going to be incredibly chaotic. I can think of a few people who definitely deserve it. But oh my god. That is going to be a crazy driver of the day. TT saying, be careful what you say. You might end up on a soundboard. It would be my honor. It would be my honor. We got Laggy Rock coming in. I was fear not the pushes, but freeze on first lap, and of course it happened. Laggy Rock. We tried to get some of your race. I know you were out there. I think you were 8th out there, doing quite well for yourself. I know that's not the finish you wanted, but at least the gods, the internet gods, let you actually finish this race. Huge shout out to Laggy Rock. Has been plagued with internet issues. So good to have you in that race. So glad we were able to cover you some. So glad to have the chat in here as well, cheering along the racers, the silent viewers as well. So glad y'all were able to get enjoyment out of this. And of course, the drivers themselves who made this happen. Now, it might sound like I'm wrapping it up, but if you care about Revolt competitive action, don't go anywhere. Because if you've been following along with this RVEC, you're going to want to know what the overall standings are after that race. And they're going to be coming at you shortly. We're getting them formatted right now, and we'll be headed over to that soon. For now, for anybody who needs to get caught up a bit, here was our overall standings leading up to that race. It was Famous out in the lead by 7 points. Kilobaris away in second by 7 points. Sting in third, Kiki fourth, Nick fifth, G-Force sixth, and so Nick fifth, G-Force. Yeah, I literally just said that, and so on and so forth. You can see they were tied with 3 first places each. Famous and Kilo were. That is going to continue to be the status quo with them tied in first as we head into the next race, which will be in a week from now, same time, same place. That is going to be Santorini, I do believe. Let's do a quick check.
Nope.
Hospital One. Sorry, pokers. I totally stole your thunder there. But tell me, pokers, how are you feeling about Hospital One?
Man, if it was into the stock game, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
The track is so smooth. There's no throttle landing, no stunts, no slippery area, multiple paths. Even since there's only one variable. Yeah, it's definitely a stock track, but it's custom.
Right. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. So we could see a little bit of return to a little bit of chill here for a bit. I see y'all carrying on. We'll go ahead and do our predictions now. We'll end our predictions. Sting getting the win. His first so far in the RVC 5. And Sting had no one put any points on him at all. We had points put on Keela, G-Force, and Frost, but no one for Sting. Which means I'm going to be taking all of your points away. Joking, of course. No reason to do that. I'm just going to refund them to you. The people who put their money on Frost, G-Force, and Keela, you're lucky. You're lucky the house doesn't keep the points.
You know what? You want to know what's sad? I was planning to bet on Stingers.
You were.
And I just forgot.
Well, there's so much action going on. Can't blame you.
I have 2 eyes.
Yeah, you have 2 eyes. That's gonna be the new thing. That's gonna be the new phrase. I have 2 eyes. Actually, that's a shout out to Dolo, right? You have 2 eyes. You have eyes. You have eyes. It's something.
Open your something high.
Open you eyes. Open you eyes. Well, Dolo, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man. That was a great phrase. Really.
Actually, Nick, if you want to have some tutorials going on YouTube, if you want to check them out, Photonic can help you achieve some best laps in the future.
Yeah, great question, Nick. We're happy to help you out with that. We got Sting saying, "Come on, guys." Oh yeah, because no one put any points on them. Yeah. We got Makakowski in the chat as well. Cheers to Makakowski. Cheers. TT. Kippy. Top. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. So we are currently still waiting on those the overall standings to come out. That's what the stream is still going for. If you have not, if you're just now coming in and you forgot, get in that straw poll. Vote for the driver of the day. Do it. I want to see full attendance here. I want to see 50 votes on this driver of the day. Because there were so many people you could give that driver of the day to. I'm literally still sitting at it looking. I'm like, yeah, we'll give it to him. But then again, there was him. And then there was also him. And what do I do? I made my decision. I'll let y'all know. Okay. Interesting. So we do have a little bit for a while here, where we're waiting for the stuff to get uploaded. No rush, of course. I know we got Nick in the chat. No rush at all, whatsoever. But just saying, as a little filler, while we are waiting, we'll go ahead and look at our upcoming tracks. Of course, to cover, these are all available in the VODs on this channel, as well as the YouTube. The YouTube. Oh my God, what is wrong with it? Okay, moving on. If you have a favorite one of these tracks, be sure to watch it back. If I had to recommend one single race, I actually probably wouldn't be able to recommend one. I don't know. Museum was heat for sure to start it off. Spa Vault 2 was just an absolute fiesta. Venice was it was also chaotic as hell. But it was still, like a little bit less just all over the place in Spa Vault 2. Downtown 1, I mean, I said it was my favorite track or my favorite cast in recent memory, maybe ever. But it's got to be second because Spa Vault 1 just took that. And I mean, how rare is it for someone who has casted this game for as long as I have to have a moment like that and to follow it up with a moment that beats that? I mean, this has just been, it's been like my birthday into Christmas. It's been amazing.
Welcome back to Fever 105.
We got a little, let's get back to the music here. Still waiting a little bit. But anyways, our upcoming tracks as well. We just finished Spa Vault 1. We've also got Hospital 1, Santorini, and White Rose Chapel. So, Pokers, you were talking about how the track is like a stock track that is a custom track. But Santorini and White Rose Chapel are really kind of in that same vein. They're kind of very dependable tracks, very much pace focused. Would you agree with that? You can disagree.
For Santorini, I kind of disagree. Though I feel the jumps on the bridge section is not very stockish. it's good. It's a good track. Obviously, it may be maybe a quicker track if there weren't any 90 degrees turns on into the jump. Yeah, Santerre is a good track, not stock track though, but White Rose Chapel is good. Very technical track, a bit slippery in some ways. Not stock enough, I think, but White Rose Chapel is definitely a great track, a very technical track.
Cool. Yes.
And being the finale of the RVEC is kind of great.
Okay, so I did just receive our the post race graphic. Hopefully, we'll have the overall standings following up after that. I'll go ahead and bring that to you all in just a moment. So, here it is. 60 laps of Spa Vault 1 are behind us. And look at the consistency. My God. It was Laggy Rock winning the consistency. Shout out. Oh, you say, yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. But congratulations, Laggy Rock, with winning the consistency there. Makakowski, close by, about 0.12% off from having the most consistent race, with 96.90%. The only driver over 97% was Laggy Rock. And we see the consistency even dipping down into the yellow there for Nick and Kiki. Having a rough race for themselves. They also weren't able to lock in a best lap. That was in the hands of Sting. As I said, first 26-pointer here for the RVC. So yeah, G-Force, unfortunately, hey, he had more consistency. You can see it right there. He had more consistency than Sting, actually. It might not have seemed like it from those final laps. And then Makakowski just really, really making a name for himself there. Absolutely huge. The guy loves to post, silly memes, have a good time, have a laugh. He's a kind-hearted guy, just having a good time. But he also, it comes to race, and this third place finish solidifies that. If you get a third place finish in the RVC, you can do just about anything in RVGL and find some success, because this is the absolute hardest field anywhere that you're gonna play RVGL, no matter what. So just absolutely monumental finish there for Makakowski there. I really can't give my congratulations enough to him for that. We do, in the meantime, have our overall standings as I kick y'all off with our outro. Just gonna pull up our standings here, and I will send y'all on your ways. And so it is going to be famous. He only got 11 points there. Kilobar's beating him out. He's still ahead by 5 points. Now I don't know if you want to do that math. I guess if you even still, they would be tied if you take away the bottom three.
I think, okay, I will check. I will check one more time.
Yeah, check, because they've got three. They would take away the non-podium finishes, and then they would have 3 firsts and a third.
If you remove the 3-4 worst lap of the top 3, Famous will be at 91, Kilobarus at 91, and Stigots were at 86.
Wow.
87, sorry.
Okay.
So they're still tied, but Stigots is only 4 points behind.
And then we've got the positions have kind of stayed the same as they were, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've seen any major movement Makakowski with a third place, 16 points. That should have shot him up at least a bit. If he didn't already pass up people, he's certainly within striking range now of not just power rate, but also frostbitten. Am I seeing that right? Yes. So for the most part, our situation going to be staying pretty normal, but Sting with a first place finish, and not just that, but a 26 pointer. That is going to be huge for him as far as getting back in the ring and starting to challenge for first place again, because it started to look like, okay, man, you know, you're the king of second places, but you can't win the RVEC with just second places, because you're going to get beat out by these guys who are finding, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, once you get rid of those bottom 3 races, all that consistency doesn't amount to enough to be able to take over these people who have been finding those first places. So that first place for Sting comes at the moment when he needs it the most. Locks in a 26 pointer here on Spa Vault 1. Props himself quite well, and also really heats up the top 3 contention. All first and third are only 7 points away from each other, not factoring in the bottom 3 races dropping out. So that is absolutely key. Despite the actual positions not changing too much, these battles have gotten a lot closer, which is exactly what we want to see as we head into the final 3 weeks of RVEC 5. It's been an absolute whirlwind here. It feels like just yesterday we were doing Museum 2, and that was 6 weeks ago. That was a long time ago. But the time just flies, and it's going to be over before you know it. So make sure, you know, give it your all. Racers who are feeling down and out right now after a poor performance on Spa Vault 1, lock it in. You've only got 3 more weeks left. Give it your best. You're going to appreciate that you did that. If you stick through it and you make it all the way to the end, giving it your best, it's going to go through. It's going to blow through in front of your eyes, and you're going to be thankful that you did it. And for the racers, obviously, it's a lot easier for those racers with momentum, like Sting and Makakowski as well, to continue laying on the pressure. But they need to not let up the gas. They don't need to be like, oh, you know, I did it. I got a first place in RVC 5. I got my first ever podium in the RVC. Now I can chill. No, now is the time to heat up. Now is the time to continue that momentum forward and try to get as many positions as you can. As for Kilobaris, the question still remains. The first places obviously were not a flash in the pan. He's done it 3 times, but that Spa Vault 1, pokers, if we flash back to about lap 20, lap 30, he had like a 200-meter advantage in first place. It slipped through his fingers. He ended up coming in 4th. He's going to be able to eliminate this race from his bottom 3, but he's going to have to perform very well in the next 3 races. And it's just going to come down to if he can overcome his hurdle. He did it previously. We saw 5 points on Venice, 13 points on Downtown 1, comes back with the 20. I was looking at the wrong person. We had him 11 points on Venice, brings it right back to Downtown 1 with a 25 pointer. 13 points on Spa Vault 1, he'll bring it right back with a 25 pointer as well. And of course, the elephant in the room that I've been neglecting this whole time, Famous. He's out in first. He's won so many of these RVCs, if not all of them. I think Frost has very much been in contention for at least a couple. But everywhere you turn in the RVGL competitive community, all roads lead to Famous. And he is really the guy to beat here. We'll see if Kilobaris and Sting can lock it in and maybe find a dub. What are you feeling, pokers?
I mean, with this huge win out of Stingox, the competition is most likely in place again. And the 3 last race that we have in the championship will be very how do you say that? Very important for the 3 of them.
Absolutely. Now just before I kick it, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Famous still have 1 joker in his bag, since Kilobaris has none. On the total standings. Stingox 2 have 1 joker left, one podium, one non-podium where he can survive the race. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting from Kilabaris to perform on these 3 laps, on the 3 races, sorry, for the
Absolutely.
rest of the competition.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we love to hear. I mean, Famous, he's a mod in the channel. You know, I love the guy. But it is so cool to have these people able to really put the pressure onto Famous, to have him be forced to perform at his absolute best, or he's gonna get dethroned here. We'll see. He's had a shaky performance on Spa Vault. He's had a shaky performance on Portland Mono 2. He's not looking bulletproof. But Famous is not the guy that you want to have the head-to-head consistency battle with. It's gonna be a tough battle, but it is doable. It's more than doable. I don't want to say likely, but it's absolutely possible. And so I'd like to see, just like you said, it's going to be an incredibly interesting final 3 weeks. Could we find a race that could even top Spa Vault 1? It's hard to believe that it could, but it was also hard to believe that a race could top Downtown 1, and it just did it. So quick question out of the chat. Just so y'all know, this is, before I send y'all off, just for some racers who might not join us all the time, the MotoGP point scoring system is what we use here. 25 points for first, 20 points for second, 16 points for third, so on and so forth. You also get 1 point for your best lap. So the stream will be going away here, but you can tune in, or you can check out the Revolt competitive Discord, and you can kind of see that how that point system comes into play. And it's actually a very relevant point here, because with our top 3, there's a lot of point disparity on the line. You know, there's a 5-point gap between first and second. So every single one of these first places is going to matter that much more for our racers. Who is going to take it? Will it be Famous Kila Sting? Will it be someone else entirely? We've seen Makakowski move into bronze. First podium for him. We've seen G-Force just on the edge, on a knife's edge, from getting his first place in the RVEC. There's new people contesting. The movement is shifting. The storm is upon us. We'll see what these last 3 weeks hold for us. That's going to be it from me and Pokers. Unless you got something else to add, Pokers, we'll send them off. Okay. Y'all have an excellent afternoon. If you're one of the rare NA viewers, of course, a large Latin America, South American presence to y'all as well. So I don't know how to say good afternoon, so I'm going to default to good evening. Buenos dias. That's good morning. I just absolutely nailed that. I'm not going to fix that. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep it moving. And a good evening. A good evening to our European racers as well. Hope you all have a good night. And that is going to be it from me. Nick with the sub to send us off. 26 months in a mother-freaking row. Absolutely crack behavior. Thank you so much for your support. And we're going to do something with this money. We had already talked about doing something, a money match before. Perhaps a Revolt, what did we call it? The Revolt Cash Cup. But we might have something else too. Good. Yeah, we might have something else too. I'm keeping track of these subs. I'm keeping track of the money. And buenos tardes. Thank you very much to you all. Thank you for teaching me something new, TT. And these racers have taught me something new as well. Excited to see what else they can teach me in these last 3 races. That's going to be it from us. We'll see you next time.